Hello and welcome to a pro basketball show with me, Andrew Willett. We're in the midst of WNBA coverage and excited to bring our content to you. You can catch a pro basketball show on streaming services such as YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify with live broadcasts on playback. Make sure to follow us at APBShow on social media platforms such as Twitter and Instagram, with more coming soon. Without further ado, a pro basketball show. Welcome to a pro basketball show. The WNBA season is underway. We got so many great storylines going on. Las Vegas, the defending champions, they dominated. The Sparks and the Winds, they both look good in their first game out. I believe Washington, New York, both going through some growing pains right now. Brittany Griner's back, but today we are going to talk about some of the hot starts around the WNBA, and we're going to do so with a little bit of extra flair, bringing the intersection of women's sports and culture, the biggest Lo, working with the Committee Sports Group and One Spot Management, as well as teaching. Lo, thank you so much for joining the show. How are you?
I'm good. That intro was amazing. You did that.
Thank you. I'm excited to be joined by you. I've seen your stuff on Twitter. You had some fun stuff on Twitter Spaces on Monday. I was able to listen to a bit of that, and then also breaking some big news recently.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What have you been up to?
Everything. I feel like don't even feel like it's enough hours in a day sometimes, but here we are. We're gonna get it done. I'm gonna get it done.
I know at this point we are 11 games into the season. I think I've watched 9 of them, and it is feeling like a grind right now.
Already.
But I'm excited for the weekend slated games coming up too, and excited to see a little bit more out of the teams, because it's been, I think, a lot has come out so far in just a couple of games. So what stood out to you so far in just 11 games into the season?
The Aces look like the Monstars. Oh my gosh. Like, I think we all expected them to be good, but like that was insane. Like,
I think it was like 46 points in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, like what? Then like everybody, it's like they already bought into their roles. They're doing exactly what they need to do. I think their bench, oh my God, bringing Alicia Clark and Kayla George off the bench is perfect. Christian Bell looks more seasoned. Oh my God, it's crazy. I think, who else? Like I said, Washington and Connecticut, I feel like we're going to have to watch them all year, like what they're doing. I do think Washington has some kinks to work out, but I think they will. They ended the season last year just questioning a little bit, like, what would his offense? They need a tad more offense. I do think Brittany Sykes definitely does help. Chrissy Tolliver does help, but I still think in these couple of games, it's still been a question mark for me. And some teams just don't look good at all. So there's that.
There is that. Today we're going to kind of focus on some of the brighter stories. Five undefeated teams left at this point. And like you said, Connecticut kind of standing out on the top. So I think let's just hop right into them. The lone team at 3-0, they've played 3 games, so of course they are. And I know a lot of people, or some people, are not thrilled with the lack of Dejanay Carrington minutes, specifically Melissa Smith.
Right.
But they're a fantastic team. Well, for me, I was very high on them heading into the season. I know you lose a player like Jonquel Jones, it looks really bad on the team, but the players they brought back, the kind of the fit of those players. And so I expected a lot. I don't know that I expected 3-0 with 2 wins over Washington already, but what stands out to you about the Connecticut Sun?
I expected them to be good too, because like losing JJ is a lot, right? But still having Alyssa, still having Bree Jones, who has come into her own, bringing in a point guard like Ty Harris, who I think she's a really good. I did go to South Carolina, so I'm a little biased, but I do think that Ty Harris is a really good point guard. I did a preseason like picks, and I picked Stephanie White for my coach of the year because I just felt like they brought in some really good pieces, and I feel like they can shake some stuff up. And I really like O&O. She's a great like role player. She needs to do those arms. She's blocked shots like it's nobody's business. Like I like Connecticut. Now I'm not saying they're gonna go undefeated, but I think they can make a push, I think they can make some shit.
I'm right there with you. I had them, I think fourth in my preseason pitch,
Yeah.
and when I just went through some of their moves, Rebecca Allen, you mentioned
Yes.
0-0, like she's been playing fantastic, but I think
Mhm.
Rebecca Allen fits really well. Ty
Yes.
Harris fits really well. Capable shooters on the outside.
Hmm.
I think Tiffany Hayes was an
Yeah.
underrated pickup in the offseason.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think they have a lot of the pieces where I put them fourth, and I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Stephanie White was my coach of the year heading into
See?
the year. The other
Great.
move I made,
Mm-hmm.
I said Bree Jones was going to be the MVP, and I think I
Maybe?
picked the wrong member of the Connecticut Sun. I think it's Alyssa Thomas right
Yeah.
now, and by a long shot.
Yeah. So what's interesting is I couldn't pick an MVP, but I did say it's gonna be somebody new this year. I didn't pick, but it's not giving Asia or Stewie to me this year. I just said somebody new, so I could definitely see it.
So I get some people like the argument is that they are Asia and Stewie are on the best teams. They're surrounded by
Mm-hmm.
the most talent, so therefore they can't win MVP. I heard Matthias Duncan on the Dunter Spot saying obviously they still can win MVP.
Yeah, they can.
Personally, I'm going the other way though. I think
Yeah,
whoever
yeah,
is on that third seed, Elena Deladon was my runner up to Bree Jones. But I think
yeah.
Alyssa Thomas right now has just been
Running away.
playing outstanding.
She has, and she almost she looks lighter. She just looks, she just looks like she's there. So that's good for her.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way that and Connecticut too with Stephanie White, they're pushing the basketball, and Alyssa Thomas is a huge part of that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's helping that team a lot. They do
Yeah.
get a little stalled on offense. We saw that in the
Mm-hmm.
Indiana game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're going to start to sort some of those issues out and look even better.
Absolutely.
Same as last year, really, with the Connecticut Sun. I think
Yeah.
they're a team that they're ready to punch you in the mouth once the
Yeah.
postseason comes around, and they could really fight to
They
get
just
into one of
gotta
those finals
they,
appearance.
yeah, they gotta find a way to win it though. They always there, but can't get over the hump. So I wonder, is this a year that they can get over the hump?
Really, I don't feel like they have those expectations on them this year just
No,
because of
they don't have it, but I do.
you do. Yeah, well, I mean, it's fair. They've been like the best team, well, win percentage wise over the last 5 seasons or something
And
like
then she
that.
said they can't get it. So I just wonder, you know,
Yeah, I think the trade kind of opened up that timeline a little bit longer. New head
yeah.
coach, she
Mm-hmm.
gets a little more time. But yeah,
Yeah,
super high on what Connecticut's doing. I like a lot of their pieces. I'm right there with you.
I like it.
Up
Yes.
next, we're going
Mm-hmm.
to talk about the Chicago Sky, and or actually rather, I do have an episode coming soon with the Sky
Mm-hmm.
Show Chicago,
Okay.
and so we should just mention them.
Okay.
Is there anything you liked about them so far? 2 games into the season, also undefeated,
I
and right
think
up
their
there.
I think their backcourt is phenomenal. Their defense is great. Still concerned about their front court. I just don't know how it's going to stand up against a lot of the other teams. But shout out to them. They're still 2-0, so it is what it is. But I still personally have questions just around their front court. And then with Izzy out, so
Yeah,
that's fine.
maybe that Isabel Harrison addition like late in the season helps them
Oh
if
yeah.
that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I was right there with you with questioning them, and then to see the way I mean Brittany Griner just went off. We can touch
Yes.
on that right now
Yeah, she
because
went off.
Brittany Griner is back, but I think still she went off and Chicago was still able to control the
Mm-hmm.
game
Yeah.
and hold on for the win. Elizabeth Williams really impressive,
Mm-hmm.
despite fouling out late in the game,
Right.
but. Yeah, so Chicago, I agree with you. Could be a little
Yeah, we
risky.
just gotta see. Yeah.
Courtney Williams, though, really solid. Her tough long 2 pointers are always
Yeah.
impressive.
And it's like she knows exactly when to turn it on. And she just start hitting them. And it's just like, well, I don't know can you do? Like,
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, she was 2 for 6 to start that game out, hit 2 3 pointers, and was not hitting anything inside the arc, and then third quarter
turn
buzzer
up.
beater. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
What? Like, what, girl? Like, that's her though. I'm not surprised. That's definitely her.
Mm-mm. And then Talia Topper, I think is going to just get better and better as the main player as the season goes along.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I've
Definitely.
been impressed already.
Yes. Her and Courtney together is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
All right. So I will save a little bit more Chicago talk for
Okay.
our next episode coming up
Okay.
soon. But up next there, we've got a couple of teams playing that are undefeated with
Mhm.
the Aces and the Sparks. But right now, let's talk about the wins. Do you think this is finally the year for this Dallas Wings team?
I don't know. I think so. Enrique is Enrique. She's that girl, right? However, sometimes with that style of play, they start jacking shots. I don't like that. I don't like it. It just hurts my head. I do think they need to find a way, maybe not all the time, but play through Big T a little bit. Run some stuff with Big T. I think that can help a lot. Granted, I know she's leaving for a little while. I think that can help a lot because one, it was a preseason game I watched, and they just started jacking shots, and it completely took him out of the game. So it's kind of like, we have Enrique, she'll do really, really good some games, and then some games it's like 6 for 25, So it's just about with them, it's just about finding that consistency. And I think Enrique is gonna be that player. She's a high volume shooter, right? But in that, if you find a little more wiggle room for Big T, let Big T work, I think that'll help balance it all out.
And was that preseason game potentially against Indiana? Because I feel like I saw the same thing when I watched that
Yeah,
preseason game.
yeah, I think it. Yes, I think it was. Yeah.
Where yeah, and funny enough, like the first game of the season for Dallas, they do pull out a big win against Atlanta, who
Mhm.
I'm high on Atlanta heading into the year,
Me
but
too.
they didn't have a very impressive start at least.
Right, agreed.
But for Dallas, it was a tale of two halves where, like you said, things were going really well in the first half, and they didn't go to Thierry McCowan as much in the second half,
Yeah,
and
did.
they weren't as successful.
Right. Who can guard Tierra McCowan?
No,
Like,
that oh my gosh, like I went to see her in person for that Indiana
mhm,
Fever preseason game,
mhm,
and oh my gosh, she's so
like,
much taller than
yeah,
everybody on the court.
yes, and she's learning to be skilled with it, and she's aggressive. Ain't nobody messing with Big T now. Mm-mm.
Well, and she knocked down a three in that game too. I was like, I had no
Confident.
idea. Yeah.
She shot it confident too. Like, bloop, next.
Uh-huh. So I guess my thing with Dallas, like it's felt like the vibes have been off for years around that core. They do
Hmm.
make some roster moves.
Right.
Natasha Howard was awesome in that first
Hmm.
game for Dallas. And then I mean Diamond to Shields, I am hopeful for. Satu Savali was
Yeah.
fantastic. I
Hmm.
like big fan of the way their bids really moved around out there. But yeah, I'm just curious if Trammell
Yeah.
can put the pieces together around
Yeah.
Aretha. I
Yeah.
I don't know.
Then I saw a quote that said something like, oh, I watched the game and said, man, they really shut themselves out of the game. But then her quote was like, well, we're going to keep shooting. And I was like, well, okay, girl. Like, okay.
Yeah, so I'm watching Aretha and like she had a heck of a first half, at least for probably all but the last 3 minutes of it.
Hmm.
And then some of those shots were a little wild, a little
Yeah.
out of sorts. And so I don't know. I agree with you that if maybe we can space some of that out, that's probably the point that did it down low more. That's fair for Dallas. I'm hopeful for them.
Yeah.
I wasn't super high on them heading into the year. I do have them making the playoffs, but not by much,
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. They got to
We'll,
figure it
we'll see how that goes.
out. Yeah.
Lastly here, because we've got a couple of teams who are playing here soon that are
Hmm.
undefeated, and that's the Aces and the Sparks. And I think we'll start with LA. Because Lo, I am telling you right now, I was not high and I was dead wrong about them heading into the season. I know
Yeah.
that one game into the season, how like
Yeah.
dead wrong I was. And I think they will not only be a playoff team, but what do you think their chances are of being one of those top 4 or 5 seeds in the W?
I I think they not four.
Not 4, okay. That's fair. We did just talk about Washington
Yeah,
and
I get
Connecticut.
five, four, 5, 6 range. I can see him sneaking to, especially when Azare comes back because she's that girl.
I'm
I said
so high on Azure.
yes,
Yes.
yes. I said all like off season, whoever lands Azare is they did what they needed to do.
Hmm.
And Kurt, like he's really no, he didn't win the big one, right? But he does a really good job at building the team up and getting them to do what they need to do. So he's done that. So I do think they might have some hiccups along the season, but I think if they can always get back to what they do, they should be fine.
Well, and you saw how they looked in that first game of the season. The talent that they added was really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Dearica Hamby, I can't speak enough to how impressive she was.
Mm-hmm.
Zaya Tooth in her first
Woo!
outing. Yeah.
Wee! Came in hooping.
Oh my gosh. Like I think 5 for 5 to start out for Zaya
Yes,
Tooth.
yes.
But
And I
just
was I was like laying down, half sleep. But she started getting hot, and I could start screaming. I couldn't even go back to sleep.
yeah, seriously. And I mean, we're gonna talk more about that game here soon, but I guess specifically with LA, like you said, Kurt Miller has that team playing so much better than they were a year ago. I think they'll be consistent too, because like you said, they have Kurt Miller heading
Mm-hmm.
that team. Neka
Yep,
Dumite is always awesome. Chennai
always.
had a different year, it seemed like.
She did. I hope she keeps that up.
I agreed.
Yeah,
They both start too. That's
yeah,
exciting.
yes. I wonder if what will happen when Azare is back. Will Shanae continue to start? I think you gotta go Azare though. I do, but I don't know.
So I've kind of the Sky have been I haven't had the favorite team, but the Sky have been the closest thing to my
Mm-hmm.
favorite team, and I was like, okay, if they're losing all this talent, at least Azure is still going to be there and can step up. And then I saw no, and I was like, oh my gosh, what are they doing?
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you. Has a huge chance to be up there in LA, and I'm high on them as well now. After
Yeah.
being so wrong, I can't like get that point across enough. In the preseason, not super high, but
Mm-hmm.
LA starts the year 1-0, and then lastly the other undefeated team. That's the Aces. We've talked
Man.
about them a little bit, as you just started out with. I am also super high on the Alicia Clark edition. But first, I need to ask you because I thought CP looked all right. Tannis Parker, but
Mm-hmm.
the black shoes and white socks.
Yeah, she tried it. That's nasty. That is nasty behavior. CP, you crossed the line. You do not do that, girl. And then she had on the white tights too. I said, oh gosh, she's killing me. Oh gosh, yes, I'm with KP. She crossed the line.
Yeah, Tessie
Violation. Flag.
Plum.
Yes, flag on the play, Candace.
Well, and it was such a bad game. I didn't have the audio on, but I'm pretty sure ESPN was pointed out on the broadcast. But super shout out to Tannis Parker. Like I said, they don't necessarily like they just crushed them. I don't know that they have when I start to look at this team, the regular season depth if a player goes down. But I think they more than added enough postseason depth for
Yeah,
once they get there. I think they're pretty much in the clear in terms of the top end talent that they have.
yeah.
What do you
Especially in
think?
the series,
Yeah,
I agree. Especially in the series, I don't see any. If they get to that point, I don't see anybody beating them 3 times. I
yeah,
just, I don't. Of course, no injuries, but they just seem super locked in. I think they won one, and a bet like Candace. Even if she seems like she's at a point that I don't matter what I score. I'm just trying to get y'all involved and just having that because she's a really good passer. She's still a good defender. I'm just Alicia Clark is just man having that off the bench. I'm high on Kayla George in this particular role. I think she could really do what she needs to do.
yeah.
And it's theirs to lose.
Okay, I'm right there with you
Yeah, it's theirs to
because
lose.
they've been number one. They were number one in my power rankings because I
Oh,
think they deserve that from winning it all. But also, I
mhm.
think the team that they already had, and then to
Yeah,
add CP3 like that,
yeah. It's theirs
un
to lose.
unreal.
Yeah.
I do have some concerns, not necessarily with the depth, but when I was watching that game against Seattle, it kind of in that first half, it was a little your turn, my turn on
hmm
offense between
hmm
Asia and Candace, and I'm
hmm
just curious how that fits in. But otherwise, especially
Yeah.
defensively, it was a seamless fit with
Yes.
CP3 and Alicia
I
Clark.
know. I saw they had like a voice. Candace was mic'd up and she was like, do you just want me to let you go one-on-one there? Oh, should I just do this here? So I think they're still trying to figure out like exactly what to do together. And then once they get there.
Well, that's terrifying. They won by 41 points, and they're still figuring things out.
Yeah. Yeah.
We there are some teams there at the bottom that we're a little concerned with. Indiana, I think, is going to figure some things out. I was unfortunately too high on them as well to start the season. So I think Indiana and LA, I probably flip-flopped just from going
Yeah,
to that Indiana Fever game. But Seattle as well down there.
yeah.
And then lastly,
Seattle,
oh yeah, go ahead.
Seattle, they did lose by 41, but they didn't look the worst to me.
Jordan Horston
Indiana,
looked awesome.
Indiana and Minnesota looked the worst to me, but even though Seattle lost, they didn't look the worst to me. I know it's like they lost by 41, but it was aces, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, and
yeah,
it wasn't that bad for a majority of the game.
right,
Kelsey Plum's still in there at the end and
yeah,
just going off. So and
yeah,
yeah, Seattle was just they were running some offense, which was
mhm,
different from some of the teams that
yeah,
that we've been watching. Like Phoenix at times is a little worrisome on offense.
yeah.
I think Indiana is going to figure some things out on offense. They're going to have to.
They're gonna have
Um,
to. I think Alyssa and Aaliyah are gonna be fine. It kind of reminds me, kind of like how I said about Enrique. She's a volume shooter. I think they have a lot of people who like to volume shoot, and it's either like a really good day or a really bad day, and that mess everything up. So
hmm.
they just gotta, everybody gotta just kind of figure out their role, see what we're doing. They need another point guard, like a backup point guard. They
So I hope it's not disrespect on Kelsey Mitchell's name because
yeah.
I'm high on Kelsey Mitchell. I
Yeah.
really do like her game.
Mhm. It's not disrespect, but I think she got to get going. She has to be consistent for this team to do something. She has to be
Mm.
consistent. Has to be, that yeah. They just got some questions. They just got to figure some stuff out.
And I think because I think they have the capable shooters that maybe aren't hitting the shots yet, like
Yeah, yeah.
Alexi Hull
Hmm.
or Grace Berger at some point gets some more minutes.
Hmm.
Chelsea Mitchell will knock down more shots. I'm
Yeah.
confident of that at least right now. I think Aaliyah Boston obviously is going to need more touches from
Yeah.
what I've seen.
She's done really good. I'm not surprised by how good she's done, but at the same time, I kind of am because like coming in the league is hard, right? But coming in the league as a 4 or 5 is hard.
Oh
And
my gosh.
she's done well.
Well, that's what I noticed, like compared to a Tierra McCowan in that preseason
Hmm.
game, compared to, I mean, who she had a battle against, Bree Jones and John Phil Jones and Bree Stewart.
And Stephanie Dolson, and she has been holding her own. And I
Yes.
just think that's crazy.
Well, imagine give her an off season or two to get her body in pro shape like that.
Man,
Oh my goodness.
right. She's gonna be special for sure.
And I think she's gonna have much better performances. Kind of gets out of foul trouble early
Hmm.
on,
Yeah, when she figured that out, yeah, she will.
and super high on Melissa Smith heading into the year too.
She seems that first game wasn't great, but the second she her and Aaliyah started to vibe a little better. I think Alyssa's gonna do really well. Really,
Hmm.
really well.
Agreed. Agreed. We'll see how that team goes. I was a little concerned. Melissa and Aaliyah on that front court for Indiana kind of just lacked a little size wise compared
Yeah,
to other
for
front
sure.
courts.
Yeah, that's why they need to get whatever they're doing together. Because if not,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, yes.
All right. All right. Well, we'll jump to kind of this last topic here, which is Phoenix. We've talked a little
Hmm.
about them,
Hmm.
but Brittany Griner being back. And I start that home opener, and I'm watching live, and I'm like, oh, they're doing a little something, and it was really
Crazy.
beautiful.
It was,
Why did you think that, I guess that ceremony was fitting for just a moment like that?
man. Cause just I know a lot of times, and I'm emotional, so I mean, it don't mean much, but like just hearing her story and even thinking about it sometimes just made me cry. Cause I'm just like, this is insane. You know what I mean? Like that's a person. I don't know Brittany Griner personally, but I know her energy. I know her spirit. So just to think of her, it was awful. So just to see them like honoring her and coming back, and her smiling, being happy, being willing to even get out there and not just kind of play to hoop for real, for real.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it's
Well, I
man.
saw like fourth career or something career game with 25 and 10 that she
Yes,
went and had it on that stage.
like I'm so happy. Like I I'm so happy for her. Oh my goodness. And what a great moment for her. Oh my gosh. I love it.
I don't know how she didn't cry when it was the I'm coming home song.
Right. Yes.
I mean, I was getting emotional right
Yes,
there.
I cried for her, so it's okay.
I have to imagine a lot of people did because
Yes.
it was a really, really good job by the Mercury and yeah, props to PG for being able to just go out there and play like that because yeah, I can't even imagine. Um, but that first game back for BG as well. LA does get that big win, but that game, the stats came out with the amount of viewers, 683,000, over 100% increase from
Mhm.
the 2022 opening weekend.
Crazy,
I
man.
mean,
It's crazy.
mo
Women's basketball is just on the up and up. Even with the commentary around this draft and stuff, a lot of it wasn't good, but still you talking about it, you know? I mean, sometimes it helps. The girlies wanted to tune in to see what y'all talking about. And then it being BG, like it was perfect. Like it's on the up and up. Like we got the most viewed championship game and now something like that. Like in women's hoops back to back, that should tell you like it's on the rise, like going in the right direction. And yet they better hop, get on the wave before it's too late.
well, and all the sellouts that I just keep seeing on Twitter, like
Mm-hmm.
I think
And
it
in the
was
Canada game,
yes, I forgot about that too.
yes, like
It's adding up.
yeah.
And yeah, my question to you is like, what does that say to everyone out there? They've got to
Yeah,
hop on. They've got to
yeah,
hop on
you
board.
gotta hop on the wave because the women can hoop. They are even more than hoopers. Great storylines, all that. Any type of woman that you like, anything they draw you in. They can really play basketball, and I think some people forget, like, or they have this notion that they can't play for real. And I just challenge everybody just to watch a few games. Get on Ion on Fridays, watch some games, and you'll see like, oh no, these girls for real, they can really play. And I think a lot of people just won't. They don't want to accept that the girls can really play, or they just don't know. So just watch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
just go turn on a game. Everyone loves to watch a little basketball. It's great basketball.
Yes, it is.
Bare
Yes.
minimum, turn on a game.
The game and watch.
Uh-huh. All right. I think lastly here from you, what else is catching your eye to start the season?
Let's see. I just really interested. Vegas is doing what they're doing, so that's not my, what I'm just interested to see how the Liberty can gel a little more.
Hmm.
It looked a lot better when Breonna Stewart was leading the ship. Um, really interested to see how Washington figures his kinks out. But yeah, that's it. Those top three teams are interested in. I just want to see how all of the teams improve. We've been past the first couple of games. So what's next? Are we gonna have some teams that's like, okay, you started here, but you're gonna grow? Are we gonna have some teams that's just stagnant? Are we gonna have some teams that fall? Like I'm just very interested. Like what now? What's next? That's what I'm interested in.
So, and I did want to ask you too, because this is kind of our episode focusing on those undefeated teams. Who do you think has the best chance to go undefeated? Because it's Connecticut, it is Las Vegas, Los Angeles. I not go undefeated, but stay undefeated the longest out of these five teams. Dallas and I think I'm missing one, but Chicago. Who do you like there?
Vegas and Vegas. Can
Yeah,
Vegas.
it's tough to choose against them. But they just look so good already. Jackie
Yeah.
Young was awesome, and she's like the fifth.
Right. Option, kind of.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like, so it's like, even if maybe if Asia's having a bad game, or when I say bad, I mean not scoring, you can literally still have Candace Parker right there who can literally go for 20.
You can have three of them not having the best game, and two of them could win a game for you very easily.
And that's just crazy. You need some defense, Jackie. Now you can take out Jackie and put Alicia. Just that bench is.
Some of the different lineups that they had out there. I mean, even when they aren't playing double bids, they can always have one of Candace or Aisha out there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so and if especially if Becky or whoever coaches the game, they scheme it and really lock in on what if the coach, to me, if the coaches do their job and scheme and okay, this is what we got, so we're gonna play like this, and the players lock in, they got it.
Right there with you. Lo, thank you so much for joining the show. I mean, I had a ton of fun talking with you. Nice and easy, fun conversation about the kind of the undefeated teams in the league. Where can everybody go find your work?
All right, I am Big Lo with 4 G's and an underscore at the low on every platform. And you'll type it, you'll find me, and follow me, like the content. I post about any and everything, y'all. So just go ahead and follow.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining a pro basketball show, Lo. It was a ton of fun.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into a pro basketball show. You can catch a pro basketball show on streaming services such as YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify with live broadcasts on playback. Make sure to follow us at APBShow on social media platforms such as Twitter and Instagram, with more coming soon. Until next time, I'm Andrew Willett. Thank you for tuning in.